John F. Kennedy.
John Fitzgerald Kennedy was born on May 29, 1917 in Brooklyn, Massachusetts. He died on November 22, 1963 in Dallas, Texas. His mom and dad's name was Rose Kennedy and Joseph Kennedy. He had 4 brothers and 5 sisters. President Kennedy's wife's name was Jacqueline Buber Kennedy. He had 3 kids. 5 main events. Many events happened when President Kennedy was in office. The first event I learned was when the U.S. found out the Soviet Union were planning missiles in Cuba. Everyone thought the Soviet Union and the United States would go to war. President Kennedy talked to the Soviet Union leader Nikita to end the Cuban Missile Problem. The second event I learned was Kennedy's dream was to send people to explore space. President Kennedy made a speech to the United States Congress to explain why he wanted people to explore space. Then his dream came true, and the American astronauts became the first people to walk on the moon. The third event that I learned was about the Berlin Wall. In Berlin, they made a wall to separate West Berlin and East Berlin. They built the wall so that people would not cross to West Berlin. The reason why the Berlin Wall was built was because West Berlin was a free side of Berlin. East Berlin was a controlled side of Berlin. President Kennedy went to Berlin because he said one day both sides of Berlin are going to be together again. The fourth event I learned was when there were a lot of racism going on in the United States. A lot of white people were treating African Americans unfairly. White people were yelling mean stuff to them, beating them, and didn't share bathrooms, schools, or water fountains. President Kennedy didn't like that. President Kennedy had an idea to make a civil rights bill. The civil rights bill was a law that protected African Americans' rights. The civil rights bill was later passed by the United States Congress. African Americans and white Americans came together again. The last sad event I learned was President Kennedy's assassination. It was a very sad news to the United States. President Kennedy was shot at a parade by a guy named Lee Harvey Oswald. At his funeral, there was a lot of people watching his coffin go by. Since he died, the Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson took over the White House. My opinion was that President Kennedy was a magnificent president. He was the one who had a dream for the first people to go to the moon. Also, because he made a civil rights bill. He reminds me of my dad because my dad is a very good man like John F. Kennedy. He was a very special man to the Kennedy family. He even took time off the clock to spend time with his family.
Well, Elias, you might have to grow up and go into politics. You're a very good public speaker. Very good. Wow, you just made that feel like so easy for you. Were you nervous at all?
A little.
Boy, you did that like you've been giving speeches your whole life.
He spoke kind of fast.
But you know what? He had a lot to say. He was trying to get it out to all of you, but it was very clear. I understood every word. Even though you spoke quickly, you got everything out very well. And like, I forget who it was yesterday I was talking about, that did all the important things about your president. All of that, the Cuban Missile Crisis, the space exploration with moon, the Berlin Wall, Civil Rights Bill, All of that, you could not have told a report about John F. Kennedy without those things. You hit all the high points. Excellent job, just fantastic. Take a few questions and compliments.
Such a. Here, Lucas H.
What sites did you go on to find this?
Well, really, I didn't go on sites. Actually, I used a book that Miss Wolf let me borrow. Gee?
You're the cancer.
Thanks. Eva.
It was cool that he took some extra time to spend with his family.
Sachin.
Nice report.
Thanks. 7.
I like how you did a little pause for the people who were taking notes, like this helps.
I know.
And you did a great report. You did a lot of information, and I like that.
Thank you.
Nice compliment.
Callie.
I liked how you made a compliment on your dad and John F. Kennedy. That was really sweet of you. I really liked that.
Thanks. Anthony. Nice costume. Orlando.
Who was his vice president?
Lyndon B. Johnson. Huh? Lyndon B. Johnson. Oh.
Notice how you just knew that, right? You know your stuff.
Alex.
Did you say if he was a Republican or a Democrat?
He was a Democrat.
Yes.
Joshua.
Nice report.
Very nice. And you could not have looked fancy. I just think, oh boy, you should all start wearing suits and ties to school. You guys just look average.
I agree.
Yeah,
You look very, very, very nice. Very professional.
I'm not doing that.
Thanks, everybody. Okay, once again, fabulous job, Elias. We learned a lot through your report. Thank you. All right. You want to keep your suit on for a while, or do you need to